technology that is built for your every sense. Acer Pure from Acer.
The trade ties now seem to be progressing rapidly. But Prime Minister Narendra Modi, as soon will be departing for China later in the day, there is an important message that is now being given by the Prime Minister to a Japanese daily, saying that India is ready to advance relations and ties with China are stable and are amicable. Now, this is the most important statement that is coming in from the Prime Minister himself. We have seen relations between India and China hitting the rocky road as far as when it comes to the Galwan clashes are concerned. But amid when it comes to US tariff bullying and how the global order now seems to be changing, Global South, Mr. Goel, good morning, seems to be the prime focus. Prime Minister Narendra Modi seems to be focusing more when it comes to the Asian side of development and growing friendship, whether be it with Japan, where he is currently, and of course with China later, where he will be departing for the SCO summit.
What I see happening really is a reset, geopolitical reset taking place very, very rapidly. And this pace of change has been actually hastened by the policies of Trump, which are rather unpredictable, which is throwing most of its allies, previous allies, under the bus. For some reason or the other, there is a hint of animosity in the relationship between India and Japan. If you look at all the statements coming from Washington about trade with India, tariff on India, Russian oil for India being bought by India. And clearly there is an element there which at least I'm not able to understand why this has happened, but it has happened. And therefore there is a need for India to look at options. And I think reset in the area is an important factor in that place. As far as China is concerned, yes, our economic and trade ties with China are very strong in a sense that we do import a lot of infrastructural goods from China.
Yes.
Our exports are very low, and I think there is a possibility for us to go in that direction. As far as Galwan Valley and the border is concerned, there is a clear recognition on both sides that this needs to be resolved. There are instrumentalities and mechanisms being considered, border management, etc., which are now on ground. And therefore, while we work in direction of managing our border and resolving the boundary issues,
yes, sir,
we need to work in the other directions, particularly economic and trade and investment ties. And
that seems to be evident as far as with China is also concerned. But another question that also remains when it comes to being committed to strengthening bilateral relations with Beijing through a strategic, long-term approach which is grounded in mutual respect, shared interest and also sensitivity. Mr. Goel, appreciate you joining us here on the broadcast. Pathikrit is also connected with us. But Pathikrit, I would want to point out exactly when we speak of Prime Minister Narendra Modi, who is also set to attend the SCO, and this will now mark Prime Minister's first visit after the Galwan clashes that happened back in 2020. This is going to be a crucial one as well, and also comes amid the ongoing tariff war with the United States. Now, the SCO summit that will see coming together some of the world's foremost leaders of the Global South, with many that have been calling it as a show of Global South solidarity. Now, what does it mean for the rest of the world, and why will Donald Trump and the nations in the EU be watching and monitoring very closely? Let's put that out. This is the SCO power play. Now, when we speak of global trade, how much, coming together of these countries are concerned, and what do they amount to? The share of global trade in 2020 that marked nearly 17.5%. The share in the world economy, when we speak of GDP numbers, this is also a robust 23.16% of the global GDP share in world economy. And of course, when we speak of population, there is no doubt as far as combining the population of the Asian countries, and the big leaders that we speak of amount to 35% of the world population. Pathikrit is there with us. Pathikrit, however, there are experts who are of the point of view that India should be still wary of China. Of course, as far as when it comes to friendship with the United States, it's a lot tense, it's under a lot of strain. But how does India now view China?
Well, there is absolutely no doubt that there are many areas of divergence with China. There are many areas of, sheer animosity. But the issue with China is that you know that China is a challenge for you, and therefore, I think it is easier to deal with China because you are dealing with China with an arm's length distance. You know the areas which are no-go for China. You know what China can do, and therefore you are pretty much prepared for it. And then you do business. I think there are areas of divergence, there are areas of convergence, and there are areas of status quo when it comes to Indo-China relationship. So on issues of status quo, you will not compromise. On issues of divergence, you will not allow China to enter your critical infrastructure sectors. But there are areas of convergence when it comes to reforms in multilateral institutions, when it comes to taking forward BRICS, and also when it comes to Chinese investments in non-sensitive sectors, where I think there are certain indications that India may allow as per recommendations.
Apologies, I just have